Shalom and beautiful rising to my brothers and sisters who have come across this video. This is going to be a quick reading because I tried to do my best to get some understanding from the book prior to, so that I won't have to be reading and everything. And of course, I'm going to use that as my foundation, and then I'll vibe with whatever the Most High and the Spirit tells me to say after that. So without further ado, I have a 3-card spread here. I like keeping it as simple as possible. It helps me get messages a bit more clearer, and I can go to me a little bit deeper. So I didn't necessarily have any particular thing that I wanted to have the spreads do for me, as in like a title or whatever, but this is definitely a spiritual guidance spread for the collective. Without further ado, here we go. The first card that came out was boundaries. And I just believe that this is saying that a lot of us still are not clear about ourselves, even how to go about doing what we need to do for our soul's purpose. And so because we're not clear about where to begin, where to start, we don't have clear boundaries set. In one of the previous readings from yesterday, Spirit was telling us that we needed to get grounded. A lot of us needed to get grounded. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure that this kind of feels like just more confirmation that we definitely need to ground ourselves so that we can get clear, so that we can get clarity, because that's why we're unable to set clear boundaries, because we don't exactly know right now how we are going to manifest our purpose in the earth. And that's because we've been running away from actually manifesting and creating life here. Because we understand we're spiritual beings, we're being activated and we're waking up. A lot of us are becoming, or maybe we've always been in this place where we've been so spiritually moved and minded that we have this tug of war going on between getting too immersed in the everyday mundane things. This is how some of us may perceive it, in the everyday mundane things that are necessary, versus doing what we're led to do according to the Spirit. Some of us have been having a tug of war with that for a long time, and Spirit is calling us to go ahead and get grounded, because the point is, we are here. We were sent to earth for a purpose. So while we're here, we have to have our basic needs met. And even more than that, the Father wants us to be abundant here so that we truly can be of assistance and of service to those who He has us with a message for. In this realm, you need money. In this realm, you need food. In this realm, you need a place to live. And all of those things also have a bearing on our minds, our boundaries. Okay? Something that was real and true for me is that because I have been also a part of the tug of war with getting grounded here in the earthly realm and everything like that, I have put myself at the mercy of other people. I wasn't sure about what I would accept or what I wouldn't accept, because, and even if I felt like I was sure, when I was in necessity and I had a lack of that myself because I was depending and looking outside of myself, I didn't have clear boundaries. And the ones that I had could easily be shifted based upon what I needed at the time. So that's not good. And Spirit is just still telling us we need to get grounded so that we can clearly see what we need to do and what we don't need to do. And that will help us to create clearer boundaries. A lot of us are being depleted, or we are getting irritated because we are doing things that we don't necessarily really want to do. We're not moved to really do them. But because we feel that we need something from the people who are asking somehow, or they are demanding somehow from us, we accept it. Because maybe we think we won't get better, or maybe we think we won't find better assistance, better help. And thus there's this pushing of limits. We need to know that the universe will take care of our every need. But we need to be clear about what we will accept and what we won't, period. It's okay to tell people no. And all that good stuff. So the next card that came up was the Great Gathering, which I believe many of us we know that this is happening. We can feel it. We are running into so many different people who are like-minded, who are experiencing some of the same things that we are. They're seeing the angel numbers. They are knowing that something bigger is going on. They are also feeling this pull on their souls to learn what their real and true purpose and mission is here. And they are finding out some of the same things that we are. And it's actually connecting us. It's actually connecting us. We are being connected and grouped with people who you may not personally know, but your soul and spirits recognize one another. And the information that is shared, whether it's them sharing information or you sharing information, it's what's turning the light on. Like, oh, here, I'm one too. And you're one over there, and I'm one. Oh my God, hi. So there are all these different connections that are taking place. This is divinely orchestrated. Spirit is saying that each and every one of us agreed to be here. We have our purpose. We have our mission. And at appointed times, we are experiencing things that are leading us to understand that there's something much bigger happening. And that there are other people who are also experiencing this. So that's a beautiful thing. I just feel like this is what's going on. If I had to say I was using a spread, I would say that this is what's going on within people. This is what's affecting us on the outside. And the next card, this last card, will be our advice on how to move forward with all of this. So this reminds me also of soul tribe, soul family. All these people who are being called around the world, who are experiencing some of the same things all around the world. We're talking about some of the same things. It could be differences, nuances, but we're all experiencing the same exact thing, and that is the gathering. Spirit is doing this. It's divine. We don't have to make it happen. That's what the universe is doing. For those who could be new to my channel, anytime I say the universe, I'm talking about God Most High. And in the last position, we've got Fill Up Your Well. This woman is by herself. With the moon and stars and water, I feel like this is inner work. These are some things that Spirit has to tell you, to build you up from the inside out. And anything that will come from any other messages that will come from anyone else will only be confirmations of what Spirit is already telling you. So this is giving a reminder to stop, take some time, get to yourself. This woman, I see she's smelling, it looks like she's holding flowers, and it almost looks as if she could be smelling them and admiring the scent of the flowers. That makes me think of stop and smell the roses type thing. It's like there is beauty in getting to yourself and doing nothing. There's beauty in getting to yourself and appreciating what the Most High has created here. Whether it be flowers, nature, your home. wherever that may be. It can become a mini sanctuary for you, but Spirit is saying you need to do it. Even deeper messages in this is that, you know, if you don't do the inner work for yourself, if you don't go within yourself and begin to heal the things that are in you, you will be of no service to anyone. That is also what the boundaries is about. If you don't create clear boundaries, if you don't even get grounded enough to realize, oh my God, I don't have any, or get grounded enough to realize, okay, now that I know what my soul's purpose is and my mission and just how I'm going to accomplish it in the earth, now I need to create boundaries, because now I know how I'm going to do it. And a lot of us, this could be saying on the heels of the other spiritual guidance with the crystal deck, which was saying for us to get grounded. A lot of us, once we get work, once we start realizing that it's perfectly fine for us as the spiritual individuals that we are to go ahead and create life here, and we begin to do that and start taking care of ourselves, not depending on anyone else, and we start working hard for what the life that we desire to live, we will be able to create these boundaries. Because we won't be depending on anyone outside of us. Therefore, no one can come in and take from us either. When you don't have really clear boundaries, you do feel that people are always taking and then never giving back to you. Spirit is giving us some beautiful messages. It's okay to get a job, sis or bro. It's okay for you to start settling here in the earth. It's okay. You have to. In order for you to really be of service to anyone, to give of yourself to anyone, to talk about what your spiritual purpose and mission is, you got to get grounded so that you can establish clear boundaries, because you definitely are a part of this divine gathering of souls that agreed to be here with messages and missions. You need to do this. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you will not be of use here. And I know that for some of us, that's a big deal for us. Like, it's huge for us to be of service to the Most High. We know that that's part of why we're here. We feel that. We feel that there is something going on outside of ourselves, bigger than us. We know it. But as mentioned before in the other reading, a lot of us have been confused. We've been wondering, how is this going to happen? How am I going to be able to be a part of this? How am I going to be able to do my soul's mission and purpose? And the reason we've been like that is because we've been unclear. We've been unclear because we haven't grounded. And we've been unclear because all this time we've been allowing others to take from us because we have not provided for ourselves. Not trying to be offensive. That could be materialistically, which I believe it's a lot for us spiritual people. Some of us have allowed other people to take care of us because we felt like we weren't able to do it ourselves. Then there are other people who this is that way, but emotionally speaking, relationship wise, you've been getting into relationships where you thought that, you expected for people to give you something that you weren't giving yourself. And you hopped in these relationships because you thought that was going to be your salvation. You thought that person was going to be able to give you what it was that you were missing, but instead they were taking from you. That little that you did have, they were taking it. And you were unclear about what to do. Get grounded. Start taking care of yourself emotionally, relationship wise. Make sure that you have a relationship with you by filling up your own well. Then you won't depend on really anyone else to give it to you, and then you can establish clear boundaries about what you will and will not accept. You know what you're worth when you do this. When you fill up your well, you know what you're worth, and there are things that you will not accept. Takers, emotionally and or spiritually, no go. and you'll be able to recognize it very quickly. So without further ado, that's all that Spirit has. So I'm going to say shalom to everyone.